I reckon you can do another good slow dog.
It's harder than it looks. Now then, Douglas McMaster reporting for the Zero Waste Cooking School. Today we're hitting the chowder. In our previous video we made a smoked mackerel and pickled lemon cucumber toasty. From that we accrued this smoked mackerel frame. Now it's time to upcycle this fish frame into a super sexy, super sophisticated chowder. It's smoky, it's sweet, it's rich, it's round. It's a joy to make and it will bring joy to those that slurp it. So pop the fish frame into your pan, cover it with water and then simmer it for 1 hour. While our stock is simmering, we're going to give our sweet potatoes a scrub. You are not obliged to keep the skin on, however the skin is delicious and nutritious, and to not consume the skin would be a waste.
I can't hear you saying now then anymore.
What do you
Heard
mean?
it like 20
Oh,
times.
piss off. Like, this is like, we're practicing.
No, it's been alright, it's
I've
been
been
alright.
pretty efficient. If you'd have heard me the times when Vic wasn't here, you've heard it like 1,000 times. Now we're going to whack these sweet potatoes in the oven. Just give it a little bit of oil so it stays nice and lubricated. And then just whack it in the oven about 180 degrees for 45 minutes. We've just taken the sweet potato out of the oven. Should be soft but not mushy. Take all of this corn hair off of the cob. Then that can all be composted. Cut this into two, like this, like this. So the corn, once prepped like this, we're going to just drop it into the finished broth a minute or two just before serving, and this is going to influence all of the sweetness of the dish, which is super important to create this harmony between sweet and savoury. With the excess cob, you can cut it into smaller pieces like this, use a strong knife, and then pop that into the broth, which again will add extra sweetness. We're also going to peel the sweet potatoes and add that to the stock as well. So all of that is just going to impart the sweet kind of caramelized flavour. So a rule of thumb with the stock, make sure the water level is always above the solids. If your water is evaporating, then you're losing liquid. It's not going to infuse all of the flavour of the solids into that liquid. So yeah, just keep an eye on it and keep it topped up all the time. So this recipe today is for 2 chowders, 2 people. Like with all of our recipes, we include a scalable formula, so you can do 2 portions, 10 portions, 20 portions, or 1 portion. Take our sage. This is for 2 people. It's 10 grams, super easy. Have some fine scales that are pretty accurate, and then just measure them. So this sage is going to go into the broth as we serve it. So there's just going to be 30 seconds to a minute of mingling time. So the flavour is still very floral, very fragrant, very present. All of the byproducts of this process have gone in, and I've specifically put them in the last sort of 10-15 minutes. So the skins from the sweet potato, the stalks from the sage, I slipped that in as well, and the corn and the cob cores. So take your lid off before you pass it, just give it a taste. Make sure it's amazing. It is, wow. The flavour of the sage and the corn is really perfumed this stock beautifully. So yeah, just pass it through there. Take a pressing device, make sure you've pressed every little bit of juice through. So this is the most important stage of the chowder. We need to measure the stock to make sure we've got an amount that matches the recipe. I'm actually 50 grams short of my recipe. So basically what might happen is that the stock has reduced too much, so it might be stronger than it needed to be. So all you need to do is top that up with a tiny little bit of water, taste it. Now that end product, that taste should be exactly how we want the end chowder to be. Strong, smoky, sweet, savoury, umami. With all of this infusion, this is all very compostable. So just whack it in your compost bucket like that. We're going to add the corn in. Just give that 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes of simmering time. Then the sweet potato, cut it into nice chunks. We really don't need that to cook anymore. Just to mingle with its new friends, the sage. Just give it a little stir. And then lastly, our creme fraiche. 0 salt has gone into this whole broth, but the smoked mackerel itself does have a lot of salinity. It's an animal from the sea, so I think that just needs a little pinch. And finally, the last thing to check is the consistency. Now, I'm a big fan of like quite light, brothy chowders. However, all you have to do, if you like it thick and heavy, with the sweet potato, just give it a little mush. It's all it takes is a little mush, and the starches from that sweet potato will thicken very easily with like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a little bit of a mush, and you get really nice, thick, chunky chowder. So incredible orange, greens and yellows, super autumnal, delightful. Whoa! Falling over. So here we have our chowder, beautiful as it is. I do like a bit of creme fraiche on top, so we're just going to whack that on. I already know this is great. I've been tasting it all along. So good, like so good. It really is this beautiful, harmonious relationship. Sweet, sour, savoury, umami, and a little bit of floral. The sage seems like an odd choice as a herb to finish it with, but honestly, it perfumes it stunning. It really does add a dimension that is necessary to something that's so kind of rich and robust. So yeah, I think this is an absolute banging recipe. That is, how genuinely incredible is that? Sorry, I swore.
But that sage just goes through it like all the way.
Yeah.
And it really, you get that smokiness in the back.
Yeah.
The sweet potatoes there, it's not too fishy.
No.
Even though I think if you use fish, it might be too fishy, but it's actually super balanced.
That's it. That is the end of this delicious transmission.